I bought this rear hub drive kit a few years ago. It came with the controller, throttle, even the tyre and the freewheel. 130 quid. Not bad, is it? Three phase wires and 5 hall wires. Remember, this is a botch. It's all going to be wrap and solder.
That's good.
These little inserts stop the wheel turning any dropout. If it did that, that would be the end of the cable going to the hub drive. My friend burnt out the original controller, so I've just got this one off eBay for £9. It's a 350 watt. It's actually about 15 amps, so it's a lot more than 350 watt. It's actually more like 750 watts. A mess of wires all in Chinese, but all you have to worry about: power in, the hall wires, the phase wires, and the throttle wires. These are the learning wires. You short them together and the motor will run by itself, and the controller will work out the best way for the halls and the phase wires to align up. Okay, I'm going to test it to see if it all works first. So there's a lot of pushing wires into connectors which will keep pulling out and annoying me. This is my backpack battery off my downhill bike. It's just plus and minus, that's all it is. 2 wires, 50 volts. Make sure you get them the right way around. Get the polarity wrong into these cheap Chinese controllers, they will just burn out straight away. The thin red wire is a sort of ignition wire. You just short it to the main positive and the motor will run all the time. You use the throttle or have the battery switched on. Quick check, yes, looking good. You will get quite a spark when you push through into these XT90 connectors. You can buy anti-spark versions, but I just like the look of the bang. Now to hack all the wires on the controller so I can wire wrap them. On the throttle, the red and black power the throttle, and the green wire is the 0 to 5 volts, which tells the controller how fast you want to go. I know there's a lot of electricians out here cringing at what I'm doing, but trust me, I used to work for the telephone company, I know what I'm doing. And that noise is the motor running backwards. All you need to do to fix that is change 2 of the phase wires around. I will say this is not an exact science, and the perfectionists out there will be saying, oh, you've got to line up the halls with the phases, but it works perfectly most of the time. Okay, all good, working like a dream. Time to solder it all up and tape it all up so it looks like not too much of a botch. Now to fit the battery, which just bolts onto where the drinks cage goes. Most bikes, the cage is too low, so what you have to do is use the top mount and then drill your own hole a bit further up. You might notice I've removed the slide-on connector on this battery because it actually failed on me a few times on big hill climbs, so I use an XT90 connector instead. £15 Chinese drill, works very good. actually got cable ties, very unusual for me. This is my patented connecting the controller to the back of the battery, a strip of Velcro. So let's see how things went on my trip to Devon. This is a pretty steep hill by anyone's standards, and I'd say I could just about get up here throttle only without pedalling. All the unexpected problems with an e-bike build is things like a lot of rattling, batteries dropping out, clunking, throttle not quite right when you're going along at speed and you're constantly accelerating and deaccelerating. It's not too bad on that bike, but you do get hit sometimes. Okay, so I'm in my late 50s and I'm not at all fit on a bike, and this bike will get me up these hills in Devon without even getting out of breath. So it looks like it wasn't the gears that had melted. It was actually probably more likely to be the controller, and I will actually buy a new one for it when I get round to it.